Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So I'm really excited to share this episode with you because there are so many ideas flowing in this episode around one of my favorite things now to talk about, which is merchandise. It's so funny because I really was very narrow-minded, came to how to leverage merchandise in your business, like printed merchandise. And I have an expert on our episode today who's going to really unpack this for you, uncover so many opportunities that you could use in your business to leverage branded merchandise. And if when you think of branded merchandise, you're thinking about, oh, you mean like mugs with my logo on them that I send in like a care package? No. We're not talking about that. We're actually going to go way deeper. We're going to talk about really clever uses of this. And I'll just tell you, like immediately when we hung up, I had so many ideas. I called Amanda right away. So I'm excited to welcome Amanda Hofman on the show. Amanda is the co-founder and CEO of Go to Market, which is a branded merchandise studio that focuses on sustainable, beautiful design. And they create custom print-on-demand swag shops for companies and brands of all sizes. That's right, print on demand. So you don't have to order a bunch of bulky inventory, commit to a bunch of expenses. You can really get creative, have a little online store, and have customers really enjoy your brand and all of the things that go along with it. And I'm excited to share this episode with you because this generated so many ideas for me and my team. And I know it's going to do the same for you. So make sure you're listening and have a place to take notes. So many ideas are coming. Let's start the show. Hey, Amanda, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be here and to talk to you about all this stuff.
I am really excited, actually. This is going to be such a fun episode for me to consume as well, because this is a topic I'm really excited to learn about. But first, can you just introduce yourself to everyone listening?
Sure. My name is Amanda Hofman. I'm the co-founder of Go to Market. I live in New York City with my husband, 2 kids, and my rescue dog. And I'm really passionate about merchandise, about making merchandise accessible for businesses of all sizes, brands, authors, podcasters, and really getting the word out about what merchandise can do for your business. It's so much more than what you think.
And how did you get interested in this subject? I want to know, like, how, I mean, like, you weren't like 8 years old, right? And your parents go, what do you want to do when you grow up? And they're like, I want to deal with merch.
Branded merchandise, swag.
How did that kind of happen?
Sure. So Go to Market is my second company. My first company was an events company for women in New York City called Urban Girl Squad. And I ran that from 2009. I sold it in 2014. And I was home with my kids for several years. And when I was looking to start a new company, my one requirement was that it not be in events. I wanted some freedom from the need to be at a certain place at a certain time. I was looking around at what I was interested in, and I was drawn to retail. I was thinking about products, and I came across print on demand. And when I learned about print on demand merchandise, everything clicked into place for me. Because as a former business owner and being very deep into the entrepreneur community, I knew what it was like to want to print branded merchandise, but just run into 100 roadblocks of, I live in Manhattan, like, where am I going to store this stuff? How do I know what sizes I need? Like, just the distribution, the cost, the commitment, all of it was like so overwhelming and so expensive. And so I never did it. And I knew so many colleagues and peers of mine who were in the same boat that had never done it. So when I learned about print on demand, it was like, oh my God, this is it. This is what every business owner needs to know about. And it's this technology that's actually been around for a while, but people are stuck in this ways of printing in bulk. And they don't realize the tremendous flexibility, freedom, and excitement that can come with printing swag for your business that is efficient, sustainable, affordable, accessible, I mean, there's so many good pieces of it. So when I learned about print on demand, I set myself on a mission with my business partner to get the word out about how businesses can leverage this amazing tool to really move the needle forward in their own businesses.
Amazing. And then what types of businesses do you see using this that maybe we don't expect, or maybe would be kind of a, even you can do it, right?
Really, every business, first of all, like 90% of businesses are printing swag anyway, right? Think
Right.
about like your doctor's office pen, your orthodontist's pen, like they're printing notepads, they're printing business cards, like everyone's putting their name on something. So I would say like it's really for everyone. We tend to work with a lot of authors, podcasters, coaches, doctors, food companies. I mean, a really wide range of things, but like, law firms print a lot of merchandise, accounting firms print a lot of merchandise. You don't think of it as swag because it's like boring, like really boring stuff. But
Right.
if they're still, as long as they're printing it, like there's an opportunity to do it better, to do it more sustainably, to do it in a way that is going to make everyone in the equation happier, the business who's giving and the recipient who's getting it.
So let's talk about context of using the branded merch. Like, it sounds super fun, right? Like it'd be fun to have my brand on the different products, right? But let's talk about strategy of how to use it intentionally in your business, and maybe even get into what types of products. Because I bet everyone's sitting there thinking, let's start there. Everyone's sitting there thinking t-shirts, hats, pens, mugs, maybe the Yetis, like, because we've all seen Fort Imprint, we've all seen these other things,
Mhm.
and we've all gone, whatever. It's not that special. I have 30 of these things in my closet from all these different companies. But let's talk about either non-traditional products or non-traditional ways of using merch that you've seen.
Yes, let's talk about it. So I'm going to take one step back to set the stage for my answer to this question, which is
Sure.
that the thing that most companies are doing wrong is in the design. It's all about the design. So when companies put their logo on a t-shirt, they're most of the time creating garbage. When companies put their logo on a mug, they're creating garbage. Like I'm pretty passionate and I've become a little aggressive about this stuff because there is a time and a place for a logo on a mug, a logo on a t-shirt, I suppose. However, if you think deeply about what your brand and your company are doing, it's so much more than the logo. It's a value, it's a message, it's a feeling, it's a connection. So if you think about your most favorite t-shirt right now. I bet it's from a school you went to, an event you went to, a camp you used to go to. You have an emotional connection to that t-shirt. And it's not because of how it feels. I'm sure it feels really soft, but it's because of what's on that t-shirt or mug or hat, or tote bag, fill it in, right? It's from something that's special to you. When I'm working with companies to develop their merchandise, I'm trying to harness that special piece and build it into the merchandise so that it creates a connection between the people who are receiving it and the company that's giving it. So, for a dentist's office, instead of printing your address and your phone number on a pen, let's make a t-shirt or a tote bag, or it could be a mug, it could be any of those basic things, but something that's like maybe the doctor always makes the same joke with the kids, or maybe there's like something special about the office that's like particularly beautiful, and we make a hand-drawn illustration of that. Something that like harnesses the special parts of your business and puts it into a piece of apparel or merchandise. So the idea is actually not that mugs, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, whatever is boring. It's all about the design. So a big mistake that I see companies make is that they say, I want something really unique, right? So they're like, I want to brand up a Bluetooth speaker. I want to brand up a vase. I want to brand a headphones, right? And it's like, that's not really the right way to think about it. There's a reason that t-shirts and sweatshirts and hats are really popular. It's because people love them and they use them all the time. And the other piece I'll shift into here, which is that, well, what about the case when it's like, well, I already have 30 t-shirts. I don't want 31. Okay, that's where print on demand comes in. So you're giving people a range of options. So you're creating a digital storefront that's like, here's your law firm, here's your favorite podcast. It's not just everyone gets a mug, it's there's a mug and a t-shirt and a hoodie and a zip up and a tank top and a candle and like all of these things, but they have engaging, interesting, exciting designs on them that people want to own, they want to wear, and they want to keep in the long run.
That's so cool. Like, so for example, right, maybe let's use this podcast as an example, right? I could put keep
Mhm,
what you earn on something, which is already kind of fun. It's kind of a statement, but
mhm.
maybe it's something I always say on the show, or it's something that
Exactly.
listeners connect with and they go, yeah. And that's why I listen to the show, because I like that tagline or that phrase or that catchphrase or whatever. And like you said, with a dentist office, maybe it's think about like, what's the reason people come back to you? What's the emotional connection that you're creating? And how can you actually preserve that on merchandise is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. So, like for keep what you earn, is there something that you find yourself saying again and again and again and again and again?
Yeah, actually, well, like I use, you guys know this, I use analogies constantly to explain taxes. So things like, God, there's so many of them. I bet I could come up with one, but I always talk about, taxes in the form of analogies. Like, for example, paying your taxes in April is like paying the hotel bill after you've eaten 60,000 or drank 60,000 margaritas and put them all in your room. And it's like that type of analogy, but it's, if you can preserve that with like a picture of the margarita or the picture of whatever, and it's such a different
Absolutely.
vibe than accounting and taxes, right?
Like I'm imagining a margarita where this instead of the straw, it says taxes, right?
Or
Or
something like
something,
that.
or like the ice cubes are all like little like tax terms or something like that. If it's something
Yeah.
that you say, the people who listen to you, they're like, Shannon's always talking about the margaritas and the taxes, and it's like an inside joke, sort of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that makes people feel special. It makes them feel like they're in the in crew, and it turns people into it creates community. Because
Mhm.
if I'm out in the world wearing a margarita tax t-shirt and I see someone wearing a margarita tax t-shirt or the margarita tax tote bag, then I'm like, oh my God, we're both keep what you earn people. You love that podcast. I love that podcast.
Right.
So it's like the merch, and this is what I was saying about merchandise building your business. It's it's like it's a virtuous cycle, right? Like you're creating something that your clients, fans, and partners want and relate to, but you're strengthening your connection with them, and you're strengthening the community that you've created of people who also use your services,
Yeah.
and you're giving them an opportunity to talk about you out in the real world or on social media.
Yeah. I actually am working on merchandise, believe it or not, but and I'm definitely going to be talking to you after the show. But
Hooray.
uh, one of the things that I was working on was a phrase called cash flow is my love language. And
Oh,
I
I
thought that was
love
such a
that.
fun, like, that would be a fun mug. That would be a fun shirt. That would be a fun little like thing to have on anything to say that and actually put that on my website, right? I had cash flow as our love language. And that's one of the things that I do as a CFO. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have that for my CFO brand and for my Keep What You Earn brand. Cause I think business owners would love to wear that and have it be kind of like this
Totally.
little, like you said, inside joke. So I think when we can get creative about how it's being presented and how people take pride in wearing it, right? Because
Mhm.
wearing a logo is nothing super special. It's like, oh, you got that shirt for free. Cool. You know?
Yeah, and also, I mean, there of course there's an element of quality, right?
Of
Like, so
course.
for me, I sample different bases all the time so that I know, like every week I'm getting packages of different t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and things so that I can tell like, oh, this one fits weird. Oh, this one actually is scratchy. But for the most part, the quality is pretty good. I think that print on demand sometimes gets a bad rap and bulk because you know, if you think about like big events that you've been to, like big conferences or school events or things like that, they're buying like the cheapest Gildan t-shirt around, and it looks like garbage and it feels like garbage and it becomes garbage. It is a big cycle of trash, but there are relatively inexpensive ways to bump up the quality there.
So let's talk about print on demand and how print on demand is a better option than let's say the bulk purchases, because there's minimum order quantities, there's a huge financial commitment, inventory, storage, all the things that go into, you know,
having branded merchandise that most people think of. And many entrepreneurs are like, I'm not ready to commit that much. And I don't even know if this is going to sell if I'm selling it. And I don't even know how many I'm going to need if I'm just buying it for a certain number of clients. Right. So let's talk about print on demand and the advantages of using that type of method.
Yes, there's so many advantages to print on demand. And one huge one is that businesses grow and change. And if your logo changes, if your offering changes, if your color changes, anything you've printed with all of that stuff is now trash. So we want to avoid doing that. The other advantages of print on demand are, I like to talk about size inclusivity. So often if you are at an event and you're a larger size person, you don't have as many options. If you're a smaller size person, you may not have as many options. With print on demand, you have, extra small to 5XL available at your fingertips at all times. So you don't need to, when people are ordering t-shirts, they're like, okay, I'll just get like 2 of each size. It's like, it doesn't work like that. Your audience is different from other audiences, and it, like, what works for one person is not going to work for another. You're inevitably going to have excess. So we want to get rid of that and have the size inclusivity. Also, like, on a much smaller scale, like, there are just people who love to wear tank tops, and there are people who will never wear t-shirts, and vice versa, right? There are people who will only wear a t-shirt and never wear a tank top. So in a print on demand format, you can offer both. The other thing is, some people don't want apparel at all, right? So they just want, like, they want the mug, they want the water bottle, they want like the desk accessory, the cell phone case. And again, vice versa. There are the people who absolutely don't want any of that and only want apparel. Another thing I like to do with print on demand stores, especially in the context of corporate gifting, is have a charity element. So let's say you want to give all of your clients an end of year gift, right? A holiday gift. So
Right.
you say, here's $50 to my store. You make a beautiful gift card. You give it to everybody. People who like apparel get the apparel. People who like the desk accessories get the desk accessories. Everyone's happy. And of course, you can have kid stuff, you can have baby stuff, you can have pet stuff on there, so that if people are like, I don't want anything for myself, but I want it for these people or animals that I love, you can do that as well. But what about for the people who are like, I really don't want anything, but I would like to accept this gift from Shannon? What do I do? Well, we suggest making a charity element on there that says, here's a charity that's very important to keep what you earn, that's very important to Shannon. I will take your gift card and donate it to charity for you. Great. Now everyone is happy. Everyone has been given a gift. Everyone has received a gift. And it's very efficient from the standpoint of the business owner who's not buying anything that people don't want. And the gift recipients all are getting exactly what they want in the size, color, preference that they have. And people who don't want anything have chosen not to have anything, either through the charity option or by just opting out.
So that's huge, because you're not just you're minimizing waste, number one, right?
In a huge way.
Right. You're minimizing waste, and you're giving people what they want and leaving them with a really good impression. It's making them part of the process. Now, I absolutely love that. By the way, like, stay tuned. This might be coming soon. 'Cause I actually love this. Well, not only that, you're minimizing waste in the form of like products people don't want, right? And then also I can't tell you how many times, like, we're so we're so tempted at the end of the year to send like cookies, a food basket, whatever.
Candles.
Right. But like
custom boxes. Can I talk about custom boxes for a minute?
Absolutely.
Little rant moment here.
Yeah.
Okay. Custom boxes. I get asked about custom boxes all the time, and I really am passionate about not doing them, because okay, I shouldn't say that. There are certain brands for which it makes a lot of sense. Certain like very high touch luxury brands want to do that, and God bless, you want to do that. That's good. For most businesses, you don't need to do that. And here's why. People, when they're filling a box, they're still thinking about their budget. So what are you putting in the box? Maybe there's one high-end thing in there. Maybe there's 2 high-end things in there. But inevitably, you're getting filler, right? You're putting a lip gloss. You're putting a chapstick. You're putting a pen. You're doing like an extra notepad. Like, even if everything in there is really nice, your gift recipient is not going to want all of the things that you've put in there. You can imagine group A like items 1 and 2 in your gift box, and group B like items 3 and 4 in your gift box, and group A is throwing away 3 and 4, and group B is throwing away 1 and 2. You're creating a tremendous amount of waste. And on top of that, just the packaging involved in these boxes really like raises my stress levels, because each item is packaged in tissue paper, and then it's put into a box that is also wrapped in tissue paper, which is put into another box that is shipped. So like I've done these makeup like subscription services, and I will admit I do really like them because it's fun to open things up. I'm not neglecting that that is fun. However, if you're a company that's thinking about sustainability and you want that to be part of your brand, when you send something that's wrapped in 1,000 sheets of tissue paper, a box inside of another box inside of another box, you're kind of undoing the good, because at the end of the day, the gift recipient is going to have a few things and an enormous pile of garbage to throw out. And I think as we're talking about younger and younger generations, the younger people are like really turned off by that. I know I'm turned off by it. I think that like as I'm talking to younger people, this message is really resonating with them as well.
That's a really good thing to think about, because you think about like, oh, they're going to love this, opening it up. But it's more it's like an expensive gesture of like that feeling of, oh, she thought of me, you sent me this. Okay, now I have to throw out this huge thing.
Exactly. And like, I can't tell you how many things I have in my closet. You know, my husband works for a big company that we've been gifted that are really cool and really nice, but like, do I really want it? Like, not really. Like, I've got all these puzzles. I have like a huge cooler, lots of extra backpacks, and these are like nice brands. Like, they're nice things, which is why I've kept them. But ultimately, they're clutter because I didn't choose them. Like, I don't actually need a Yeti cooler. I don't actually need a fourth backpack. So like, yes, thank you for the gift. I really like it. But also like, is this what I wanted? Not really.
Yeah, like if you wouldn't have bought it for yourself. It's that whole thing, the whole thing that we all prefer gift cards, because it's like, just don't clutter my house. I'll pick what I want. And I think that's actually a really cool thing to adopt as a business owner, is let the person pick what they need, what they want. And they're also, like I said, part of it. So then it's like they get a keep what you earn mug. It's like, well,
Totally.
they picked it. They wanted it.
They pick it, they want it, they're likely to keep it and use it. That is the key. Like
Right.
the backpacks that I was given are at the bottom of a drawer, shelf, cabinet somewhere. Like I would need to like really, really, really dig them up to find them. Whereas like my favorite mugs, t-shirts, hats from the companies that I love, they're top of mind. I'm reaching for them first. They come out of the laundry, they're the first on my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of thing you want to create. And it's just like, at the end of the day, it's going to save you time and money. This is another piece I want to really make sure that I get home. I run all the merchandise for my kids' public school here in New York City, and we have to do it in bulk for a variety of reasons. And every time I can't get over how much labor is involved in actually hauling the t-shirts, sweatshirts, water bottles, lunch bags, whatever, from the storage location to wherever I'm selling them or to the distribution and then back again. It's so many hours of my time. And people think like, oh, it's just merchandise. Like I'll just like ship it or I'll bring it here and there. It's like, you have better things to do as a business owner and as an employee that are more worthy of your time than this. So don't. It's like how people say like hire a virtual assistant, delegate. It's like, this is not for you. You don't need to be going to the post office. You don't need to be hauling 8 boxes of things to an event. It doesn't make sense.
I totally agree. On that cost front, let me just ask you about this and tell me if you know or don't know, and if you don't want to name, companies, that's fine. But I would love to know more about the print on demand mechanics of, so for example, when you run an e-commerce store through like Shopify, right? Mm-hmm. You got to collect and pay sales taxes. Plus, mm-hmm. You're running the store. But in the print on demand space, is this where like another company runs the store and you're providing the designs? Like who gets paid, who is buying from whom, and how does it flow?
Great question. So we build on top of sites like Printful and Printify. They're really robust international sites that are reliable and for the most part trustworthy and have good customer service built into them. So the way it works is Printful and Printify will connect to your e-commerce platform. If you don't have an e-commerce platform, you can sign up for Shopify Lite for just $5 a month. It's easy to do. So what happens is an order comes in. So let's say a t-shirt costs $20. You're charging $35 on your store. I come on to Keep What You Earn. I'm like, I want the $35 t-shirt. I buy that. Shannon, you get my $35. On the back end, Printful or Printify is charging your credit card $20 for my order. This is all happening automatically.
Okay.
They are getting the order. They're choosing exactly what I bought, printing it at a location near me. So I'm in New York City. So maybe like a factory in New Jersey is printing it. If I were in Canada, a factory in Canada would be printing it. And then it gets shipped from that factory directly to me with your branding, with the Keep What You Earn branding on it.
Okay, so it's near, so let me make sure I have this right. Factory near the customer, shipped to the customer directly, basically as the business owner with the logo or with the saying on it, right? It sounds like all I have to do is post it on my store online and everything kind of just happens automatically. Like they just buy
I
it
will
on the
say that
website.
you won't, if you're doing this for passive income, it won't happen. Some business owners are like, I'm going to create this awesome store and I'm going to launch it and then I'm going to have a lot of sales. And it's like, that is not how that works. Like you need to promote it if you want people to buy your stuff. I like to encourage business owners to think about swag and merchandise as a brand builder, as a relationship builder, as a marketing strategy. Yes, of course, it can be passive income for some of our clients. They do very well with it. It depends a lot on the industry and on the person who's selling. And I will add, while we're talking about money, that the margin on print on demand is much lower than the margin for bulk.
Right.
So if you're used to ordering in bulk and you're used to getting your t-shirt for $8, that's not going to happen in a print on demand format. However, big fat however, you're not ordering more than you need. You have the flexibility of the design. You're not shipping it yourself. You're not warehousing it yourself. It's a fully done for you service. So this is one of those things that like, yes, it's worth the investment. Unless you are running like South by Southwest, you don't need to be printing in bulk. Or even in the case of people are going to say, well, what about a retreat? What about a conference? Here's what I'll say for that. If you're hosting a retreat or a conference, create a print on demand swag shop ahead of time. Tell your attendees, hey, not everyone's getting the same conference tee this year. We're not printing one conference tee. Here are 8 different t-shirts to choose from with or whatever, t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, whatever. You choose what you want. You give them a gift card or a promo code, or you make the whole site free. They order what they want ahead of time. They bring it to the conference, right? Some people are like, well, I still want to give something to them there. Okay, it doesn't need to be mutually exclusive, right? Like maybe what you give to them there is something much smaller or something very particular to your brand. It shouldn't be a huge investment and it shouldn't take up a lot of space. So this is another thing with conferences. If people are flying to your conference, like don't give them something that they need to like stuff their suitcase with. Like don't give them a whole load of stuff that they then need to travel with. I just heard this story about how somebody at a conference, like they gave out box cutters or something insane. And it's like, half the people flew here. Like, what are you doing? This is just, people are just not thinking through that. And while I'm on the topic of like small items, like please stop printing junk swag. Like no more stress balls. Like, can we all just agree not to print stress balls anymore? Like, let's not print a little junky flashlight keychain. Like we just don't need that. You're not building your brand with anyone. Like just spend your money elsewhere. Just, you can do it better. You can do it easier. There's just a better solution.
You're describing every accounting conference ever. It's so funny because it's so true, guys. It's so true. How many friggin' pens I have from other firms, from like recruiting events and stuff. That's the other thing too. Like recruiting events, stand out, do something fun. But also here's the thing. You mentioned the conferences. So people say, oh, I want to put something in the swag bag. Like I'm a sponsor and I want to put something in the swag bag they can touch.
Okay.
I would say, I mean, you might be going here. I would love to not have to carry anything. I would love a little postcard with like a QR code to the store. Go buy something. Yes. Okay. Or a gift card, yes. $20 off with this code. Go here.
Here's free $20 to my store. And here's why I'm so passionate about that. I talk about that all the time. First of all, make the gift card beautiful. Okay. This is where your design comes in. This is not an ugly gift card. Make it really gorgeous. Think about somebody coming to an expo. They have a bag full of junk or junk adjacent stuff. Okay.
Yes, junk
so
adjacent.
They have hats, they have the notepads, they have the I know like right at the beginning of the pandemic, people were making those like the little hooks that open the door for you. Branded hand sanitizers, branded chapstick, all of that, branded masks. Okay. Everyone, they're done with the expo. They come home. They have a bag full of this stuff. What do they do with that bag?
Probably throw it out.
They put it down and they're like, I'm going to deal with that later.
Yes.
Or they go through it eventually and they're like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. It gets shoved somewhere or other. But if you give somebody money, here's $20, they're more likely to take it out. And let me tell you, this is the most important piece. And this is the piece that if you leave with nothing else, like think about this. The person who takes out your gift card and goes to your site and then gets something is a lead so much more than the person who's taking your chapstick or taking your door opener or taking your hand sanitizer and just walking away with your hand sanitizer. Even if at the expo, you have an iPad there and you're like, here's $20 to my store, spend it now. And they choose what they want and it gets shipped to them 2 weeks later, you're still increasing your touch points with them and extending that relationship by 2 weeks. You're no longer in the bag that's on their floor with like the 800 other postcards and chapsticks and hand sanitizers in there. So like, yes, people are going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to touch as many people if I don't hand them something. That's true. However, most of those people are not going to be your future clients, customers anyway, right? We're not just trying to like dump from a helicopter 100,000 leaflets, right? Like we want people who are qualified leads who are going to potentially be customers. The people who follow up on the postcard and shop with you are going to be potential customers.
I love it. Here's the other thing. You meet them where they're at in terms of want, because if they want, let's just say like branded sticky notes for an example, right? That's a basic thing that if you need sticky notes, like if you're out and you need them, you're going to Amazon. You're just going to go like, I don't care what the hell's written on them. Did they stick? You don't really care. You don't need to see that. Plus it's actually, here's another thing. Those are consumables. So even if you branded yourself, the sticky notes, eventually they're going to be gone versus an object or something else that can actually be seen over and over and over again that they actually picked. We keep going back to this, like meet them where they're at in terms of what they're asking for. Because if you're just going to throw stuff at them, 90% of the customers, it's not going to stick, or it's not going to be memorable. It's going to end up in the trash somewhere. I love that idea. This is like, you got my wheels turning now. And like,
oh my God, I would love to do this for you. It would be so exciting.
You guys might be seeing some Keep What You Earn swag pretty soon. Yes. So funny.
My favorite.
Let's talk a bit about like so we mentioned that like we don't buy in bulk. But let me go through like a really nitty gritty example. We're going to go into like the details for a second. So like I go to a conference, I'm a sponsor, I have a table and I want to do this. Like I love the iPad idea. Go buy your stuff. Here's a gift card, right? The stack of gift cards on the table, you're handing them out to people. Now they're going on the iPads or little kiosks and buying stuff. What if they want to see, feel, touch? Like some people are weird about, and I'm one of these people sometimes where I'm like sizing and touch and feel and which one do I want? Will it be scratchy? You can buy a few individual pieces, probably from your own store, or you can ask 100%. To get a few copies.
You can have one of every size there. You can have a rack. Like, let's say you have a t-shirt and a sweatshirt, right? Like have 10 that are just there as like sizing examples. So like this is what happens at race expos. So I do running races here in New York City. Like they'll have on a mannequin, like here's the small, here's the medium, here's the large, here's the extra large, here's a sample. You can try it on. Which one do you want? Right. And then you sort of commit to it there. If you're really worried about sizing, you can go with unsized stuff. There's plenty of unsized stuff. Like socks are mostly unsized. Winter hats, beanies, baseball hats, tote bags, scarves. There's a lot. There's a lot of different options. There's home decor, right? There's aprons, towels.
So then we get into like the SKUs, right? Of like how many, so like do these sites have a limit on a number of different things you can offer? Cause like, for example, right, there might be like maybe there's like a jean jacket or something that you're like, I really want to offer this, but I know it's going to be a very rare buy because it's going to be quite expensive to do this. Mm-hmm. Can you offer it on the site without any real commitment, right? Or can Zero commitment. So you can offer as many, well, here's the thing though, there's probably a point of diminishing returns when there's too much stuff. Or too many choices. We
strongly encourage our clients to think editorially, and we help with that. So I think that a store should not have more than like 9 products on it. maybe 12. And the reason for that is, I don't know if you've ever shopped on Redbubble or like
Mm-mm.
Teespring. These are popular print on demand sites, third-party sites. So just so your listeners know, when we as a company design merchandise stores for clients, we build it into their website. So it's completely native to their site. They're not kicked to a third party. Third-party sites like Redbubble, Teespring, I'm not a fan of them. They're fine if you just want to be a t-shirt designer, want to throw a t-shirt out somewhere and see if it's popular. Like there's a time and a place for it. I don't think it's good for companies to use. I think it looks unprofessional to be using sites like that to sell. But if you go on those sites, like you pick a design and you can have it on literally anything. And it's so overwhelming that as a consumer, not as a merchandise expert, as a consumer, there have been things that I'm like, I love that design. And I'm like, I cannot make a decision between all of these different shapes and colors because you can have it on any color, any base. So I encourage, look, you're in the same way that like, as a company, as a brand, like you don't sell 100,000 different things, right? Like you sell your CFO services, maybe you sell a consulting package, maybe you sell a workshop or a mastermind. You're not selling a mastermind in like the 1 week and the 2 week and the 1.5 week and the 3.5 week and the 5-person and the 7-person and the 8-person, right? You're choosing for them option A, option B, right? So like your basis should be interesting enough to accommodate a wide variety of tastes. So maybe like a lighter color option and a darker color option, or like a unisex fit and a women's fit, but not, you know, even though the t-shirt comes in 8 colors, choose one, choose 2, right? So we encourage that editorializing
I
of
like
the
that.
stores.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, at a certain point, you end up on, basically an online store, and you're going, it's like analysis paralysis or the like overwhelm of, I have a $20 gift card. I have no idea what to do with it because there's so many different options.
I'm
Yeah,
out.
I'm out.
I mean, if you're doing the kiosk option that I mentioned, I would have like one item in the store that people choose, because also you want people moving through, right? You don't want them like
you want
browsing
simple
on your.
decisions. It could be like A, B, or C. It's kind of like small, medium, large, like in a Happy Meal, right? Like from McDonald's, like one of these 3 things, and then pick your. It might just be pick your color. I like the idea of
So
having
we did
a
this.
choice to make.
Yeah, we just did this with a skincare company. And like, for example, we made a shirt for them that says, I'd wax that. And it's like so funny. And it's the kind of thing that like the 2 people in the booth are going to be wearing the I'd wax that t-shirt. So anyone walking by, they're going to be like, I love that. And I want to get to know more about your company, or that's dumb and that means nothing to me, and walk on. Keep in mind, the people who are going to walk on, they're not your customers. So like, who cares, right? The person who's going to spend the time to be like, I want this t-shirt. And of course it has their logo on it, not front and center, but as a piece of it, are like, again, these are like your customers. These are your people. These are the people who are going to be excited about you and your brand and to become brand ambassadors for you, right? They're the ones who are going to log on. So I would say just offer that shirt. Again, maybe it's the unisex fit and the women's fit, just quick A or B. In that context. If you're like, for you, Shannon, like you don't want that, right? Because like, you're not having 1,000 people walk by you. You just need to like grab someone's attention. You want to give people options so that they can like have, because you're developing long-term relationships with people through the podcast and the other types of work that you do.
Yeah. And I think it's more about grabbing, like going all the way back to, right, the whole anchor point in all of this is having it being compelling, attractive, and all in the design. So people actually want it. Like people skip that step.
100%.
They make what they want. They make I'm just going to put stuff on my website and people will buy it because they love my brand. I go, no one loves your brand like you do.
It's such a common mistake, and it's a mistake that I really relate to as a business owner. You know, I love my brand. I'm wearing a sweatshirt that says Merch Mentor. I'm always in head to toe go to market gear, and it's because I love my brand. But like, I'm not. I'll say this kindly. I'm not delusional to think that like somebody wants to wear a sweatshirt that says go to market, but people love their brand so much that they actually forget that sometimes. And they're like, well, everyone wants to wear a go to market sweatshirt. It's like, they don't, sweetie. I'm sorry. Like they might love you. They might love your business, but like make it funny, make it inspiring, make it beautiful, make it inspirational. So my business partner is an artist and a designer. I think she's the best in the industry and she's incredibly talented. So like we sit down with brands and we're like, what would be the most interesting, beautiful, exciting part of your brand to bring forward that like people are going to actually want to wear?
That was my next question is when in terms of servicing your clients, I want to talk about how people can work with you and what pieces of the process you guys help with. So is it all the way from like, do you have to come ready with a design and with a whole thing done, or do you guys help with the creative flow of that as well?
So we do everything. We do all of the design, we do the creative piece. So like we meet with businesses and we talk about their brand. We talk about exactly this. How do we translate it from your logo on a shirt to something that's meaningful? Like we do a lot of research, like what are the pieces that your customers really relate to about you? What are the exciting parts? And are we going for something funny, something inspirational, something beautiful? And we really customize things. So like we've create custom branding elements. We'll use your logo and your colors and build from there. We'll create custom patterns that can go on leggings and sports bras and, all over print hoodies and backpacks. And we take them, we have that piece, then we work on the design. We then talk about which bases we're going to use. So like I said, I'm very well versed in all the different samples that are out there, right? So like I know the brands that I like, I know the brands that I don't like, I know how Printful does certain things versus Printify. For example, there are candles on all of these sites, right? And they look really good. But if you just pro tip, the scented candles smell like a gas station bathroom. Like they're just
Oh my God.
like someone just like whooshed Lysol all over the place. You're like, don't give that to your client, right? Like, so there are just certain things that are on the site that look really good that are not necessarily good, and vice versa. Other things that look sort of basic, but then you touch them and you're like, this is amazing. This is my favorite sweatshirt. I'm never taking this off. So we go through the sampling process, then we build the merch site into their site so that customers have a seamless experience. And then the store operates kind of on its own. Like it's an evergreen shop that we create for them. They'll have it year after year. They can add to it. They can take away. If their logos change, we can update it for them. But it's a fantastic source for gifting, for onboarding. Anytime you're going to give somebody something branded, I would say give them a gift card instead. It's easier for you. It's better for them. Everyone's happier, the environment especially. And if you want to give, if you're like, I can't, if you're old school or you just are like, I must give somebody something physical, I would say two things. One, print the gift card, make it a physical gift card, not an e-gift card. Mm-hmm. Two, it does not need to be mutually exclusive. So if you're doing something, you're like, I must give everyone a tote bag. Give everyone a tote bag. Put the gift card inside of it. Let them choose something. That way, if they're like, this tote bag is garbage to me, they can still go online and pick a hoodie that they love, or they can pick a mug that they love. That way, everybody has something that they've chosen from your brand that they will cherish.
Yeah. And I'll remind you guys as you're listening to this, because like this is so good. Like there's so many good tips in here. You got my mind spinning. But also, here's the other thing with the physical gift card. It can also have, let's say, a QR code or a URL on it, right? And now whatever is behind that on that URL, you can change. So if stuff changes and they hold on to the cart, it's not a static thing. So like you change the designs, you offer new designs, they can actually go back there. And you can actually have a landing page. You could have a video with you wearing the thing, saying hello, and then the store. Like there's so much stuff that can basically interact with you like it's a booth. Like you wouldn't have to buy a booth at the conference, guys. You could have your booth on a web page and lead them to it on that card. That is insanely powerful. And we're not using this technology nearly enough. And people do, I agree with you, Amanda, people do want to physically touch the gift card. The e-gift cards just fall into the email, void of despair. I think that having that physical thing, I will say, I can attest to this. If I get something like that, it's the one thing I keep. And I put it in my notebook, and then I bring it home and it's on my desk. It's like the one thing that stays from these conferences is like, oh wait, there's a thing on that. I need to use that. I don't want to let a coupon go unused.
Right. I mean, there's a piece of us that's like, this is cash.
Yeah. It's as
not
good as money.
Cash.
Right.
Right. And then again, like it's not mutually exclusive. Like there are these beautiful patches that we could print that I'm showing right now. I'm kind of obsessed with the patches right now, as you might see on our Instagram. They're just colorful. They're fun. They're exciting. They're inexpensive. And it's the kind of thing that's like, it's not going to take up so much space if you give it to somebody. So like from a sustainability standpoint.
And they can give it to someone else too. And it won't be like it doesn't fit or.
Yeah. So like think about like the I'd wax that. Like that's really funny. And people in skincare who are waxers or who get waxed a lot are going to be like, that is my people. That's something that I love. Like, I want to put that on my backpack, or I just want to like prop it up on my desk and it'll make me smile every time I see it. Like, that is one of those things that it's like, it doesn't need to be bulk or print on demand. There are times, and I should say also that like all the designs that we create for clients, they own. So if they do have a retreat, if they do have something where they're like, I know who's coming and I want 50 of these, like, you can take all of our art and our designs and we can help you order them in bulk. Like, it's
Love
not
that.
mutually exclusive.
And I want to just, as we're kind of wrapping things up, I want to remind you guys of all the creative uses for this. We talked about conferences, we talked about swag, we talked about client gifting. You can also use it for employee and team gifting. You can, like, if people want to wear it with pride, right? To say like, first of all, the I'd wax that is a great example, because I feel like employees would feel like they're wearing a uniform. But wearing that would be kind of cool. It would also be a great brand builder for when clients see them and they can wear it with pride and say, I work here, right? So now it's a whole different level of branding when you can associate an emotion or laughing or something with the brand, not just, oh, that's a nice logo and it's not memorable. So there's all of that.
100%.
So many different ways to use this. It's so creative. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on and shedding light to all of that. One more time, where can people find you and learn more about working with you guys?
Yes, please follow us on Instagram. Go to Market Studio is our handle. You can email me at amanda@gotomarket.studio. I love talking about merchandise. I'd love to talk to you about how it could work for your company. Our website is gotomarket.studio. And you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Amanda Hofman with one F, one N, one of each letter. And I love meeting other business owners. So please reach out to me.
That's perfect. Guys, just look in the show notes, scroll down, and you'll see all of that available to you. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on today.
It was lovely to talk to you.
If you're an entrepreneur who's just starting out, it can be overwhelming to think about all the responsibilities you have when it comes to financial management and taxes. Even if you've been binging this podcast, implementing all of it can be really stressful if you don't have a clear list of action steps and know exactly what you should be doing right now. Luckily, we organized all of this for you in the Business Financial Quick Starter. This is your one-stop shop for beginning steps of entrepreneurship so you can build your business confidently from day one. This is not me teaching accounting, no way. It's a specific set of essential action steps to save you a lot of time, money, and headaches as you embark on your own entrepreneurship journey. We cover everything from setting up your business bank account all the way through avoiding a surprise tax bill. Now, as a podcast listener, you get 10% off with code KEEPWHATYOUEARN, all one word. So dive in now and access your Business Financial Quick Starter. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.